start with the prayers. Om Bhadram Karnete Shruniyama Devaha Bhadram Pashye Makshabhiryajatraha Stirairangaihi Stuštuvagum Sastanobihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuho Swasti na Indro Vrittasavaha Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti Rastakshorarishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati Dadato Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying Mandukya Upanishad, the Shankara Bashyam. We have finished the first three mantras of this chapter. We are going to enter the fourth mantra, and the notes are in volume 2, which has already been circulated to you in WhatsApp. The first pada introduced by the Upanishad is the waking state. The second pada is the dream state. Very easy to understand. So, and this Upanishad, if you follow the Shankaracharya's commentary, it's probably the easiest Upanishad to understand for moksha. From the point of view of moksha, which is the goal of the seeker, this Upanishad stands right at the top because it helps a seeker to understand his real nature. So the second pada is the dream state. The third pada is the sleep state. And the fourth pada is the Atma or Turiyam. So it's a very step-by-step logical analysis of all our experiences. So we don't stop only with the waking state experience. That is the beauty of Mandukya Upanishad. In no other Upanishad, such a great emphasis is made on all the three states. There are other Upanishads which deal with Avastha, Traya, Viveka. Prashna Upanishad, which also belongs to the Atharvana Veda, also deals with these three states. Chandogya Upanishad, Samaveda, also deals with the three states in the eighth chapter. So 6, 7, and 8 are the Vedantic chapters of Chandogya Upanishad. So even in Chandogya Upanishad, Samaveda, Avastha Traya Viveka is done. So you can see how important is this analysis. With this short introduction, I will go to the first mantra of the dream state, which is this verse number 4.
Swapnasthanontah prajñāः Swapnasthanontah prajñāः Saptanga ekona vimshati mukha Saptanga ekona vimshati mukha Pravivikta bhuktaijasa Pravivikta bhuktaijasa Dvitiyah padaha Dvitiyah padaha Swapnasthanontah prajñāः saptanga.
So the second quarter, the second pada is called as Taijasa. You should try to remember the names. The first pada is called as Vishwa. This is from the individual standpoint. I, the Jiva, am called as Vishwa whenever I see my physical body. When I see my subtle body, then I am called as Taijasa. Physical body is seen in the waking state. subtle body is predominantly seen in the dream state. The third state is the prajna. The same consciousness, I am given a name, prajna, then I am with the causal body, with my vasanas, or with my ignorance. So there are three bodies which Veda introduces us to. In Tattva Bodha itself, Shankaracharya explains the three bodies. Normally, if you don't come to the Veda, if you don't come for a spiritual study, you only know about your physical body. You never come to know that there is another body which is more subtler than this gross body. There is another world which is subtler than this gross world. More subtler is the causal body, which is the cause of the gross body and the subtle body. And what about Atma? Atma is the substratum or the light, the spiritual light in which we go through all the three avasthas. This is very, very important to understand. If you don't understand this, please ask me this again in the chat box. I will explain to you. Because if you don't understand the three padas and what is the substratum or what is the content, invariable content, that means it doesn't change. The body undergoes a change from gross to subtle when you transfer your state from waking to dream. Body. But consciousness, the light of awareness remains the same. And Upanishad wants us to hold on to that light of consciousness and drop the ahamkara. Ahamkara is equal to waker, dreamer, sleeper. So whatever I experience in the waking state, Veda says it is not you. It is appearing because of the law of karma. Whatever you see in the dream state is also because of the law of karma. Whatever you don't see in the sleep state is also because of the law of karma, where you are ignorant about the Turiya Avastha. So with this short introduction, I will go into the actual mantra and the description. Here also, the Upanishad says that the Tejas also has 7 limbs and 19 mouths. That means the prapancha, the individual jiva and the samashti Ishvara, they are also there in the second avastha. They are also there in the third avastha, but they also undergo a change in terms of either karanam or karya. Swapna, Jagrati, Sushupti, Sthanaha. So it is one Chaitanyam, one consciousness, which is called as Turiyam. Try to understand this very carefully, because this is the ultimate lesson of the entire Upanishad. There is one consciousness, one awareness, in which there is waking, dream, and sleep continuously happening. How does this happen? It is because of Maya Shakti. There is a power in this universe which your eyes cannot see it. It can be only known from the Upanishads. See, our body, if you really try to understand our nature, you will be amazed at what this body consists of. And when you even get a glimpse of what the mind is, you will be astonished as to how minute and how uh, ingenious is this mind. So, Eko Vimshati Mukaha. Eko Vimshati means 19 organs. In association with the jnana, 5 jnana indriyas, 5 karma indriyas, 5 pranas, and 4 antakranam, it is antaprajnam, not bahish prajnam. That means the jiva remains the same, but in a subtle form. Instead of the consciousness showing the outer world, the same consciousness is showing your mind. It is turned inwards. That is why it is called as antarmukha. Inner world is not a bhautika prapancha. The outer world is bhautika prapancha. What is the meaning of bhautika prapancha? Bhautika prapancha means all the objects which are drishyam, which are seen, are made up of panchabhutas, the 5 elements. All. Everything in creation is nothing but 5 elements. This is a statement of fact given out by the Veda. Whatever you experience is nothing but 5 elements in different forms. In the inner world, in the dream state, it is manasa prapancha. So what is the difference between waking and dream? Waking is external bhautika prapancha made up of 5 gross elements, whereas the dream world is made up of the mind and its projection. It is manasa prapancha. This is the basic difference between the two. Then Shankaracharya starts his commentary about details of this dream state. What is this dream state? It is a state where the sphere of activity changes. The waking state, the sleep state, and the dream state are 3 different states of the mind. And in each state, there are some changes. In the waking state, the sense organs and the mind are all engrossed with the outer world, external objects. This is how Shankaracharya is describing. See, he is going into the depth of the dream state, but before he goes to the depth of the dream state, he gives what is the waking state. Bahi Vishaya Eva. So, external world consists of Bhautika Prapancha. Internal world consists of Manasa Prapancha. Even though we say that the external world is Bhautika Prapancha, how do we experience it? We experience the whole external world in thought form. It is a modification of the thoughts. These are all the beautiful analysis of our rishis. Now, when the thoughts are happening in the mind during the waking state, they leave impressions in the mind. That means what is the mind? Mind is a registering instrument. All of us, we don't know this. Only when you come to study the Vedanta, you come to realize, oh, my mind, I thought it was just my mind. It was just some emotions and all. But when you come to Vedanta, you try to go very deep. So what does Shankaracharya say? He says that it is an instrument of transaction. And number one. Number two is it also registers. Registers means what? It remembers and it whenever there is a registration of the outside world, it, it leaves an impression in the mind in the form of samskaras or vasanas. Okay, so in the normally what happens in the waking state, I see different worlds. I have different experiences. I go to Kailash. I go to London. I go and see America. I have different types of, I have emotions. I have different experiences. But then what is the end result of all that? Shankaracharya says they are leaving an impression in the mind in the form of vasanas. And he gives an example like an embroidered cloth. Like you have a cloth, a plain cloth, and then you have embroidery on the cloth. Similarly, in the plain mind, you have embroidery of the vasanas. And from time to time, these vasanas, they get activated. They get activated because you don't know your real nature is consciousness. This is something which we have to accept because we don't know the intricate working of our mind. Why does a dream happen? Shankaracharya says it happens because you don't know you are Atma. There is avidya in you. That will come in the third stage. The cause of the dream, cause of the waking is avidya. It will be explained in the fifth and the sixth mantra. But here Shankaracharya gives us an introduction so that we get ready. Even the dream which you see is because of avidya. The waking is also because of avidya. So in a particular dream, a small portion of the impressions in the Karana Shariram is manifested as dream. Some portion of the Karana Shariram requires external world. Some portion of the Karana Shariram can be exhausted in a dream. There is so much of information in these mantras. And it says, there is a Brahadanika Upanishad which says that this avidya, power of Maya Shakti, it can create a dream body. We can see this gross body in the waking state. We can't see the dream body, but it exists according to the Brahadanika Upanishad. So that is all explained in this one small paragraph of commentary by Shankaracharya. So what is this Turiyam or consciousness? It is that consciousness which can stand alone. Don't forget this nature of Turiyam because this is fundamental to Mandukya Upanishad. It takes a little bit of time to absorb this knowledge. How do I know that it exists independently? Because Upanishads tell me that I am in my real self during sleep. So in sleep, there are two things. One is my real avastha as consciousness. Another is ignorance, which is tamoguna, which is the karana shariram. So the same consciousness appears as the Vishwa, appears as the Taijasa, appears as the Prajna. Whenever there is no prapancha, prapancha means world of five elements. This consciousness gets the name Turiyam. In all the other three avasthas, there is subject-object relationship. duality is there. When there is no duality, when it is called as Advaita Avastha, which means it is Turiyam, which is your real nature. Now we are focusing on the Dvitiya Pada, which is Tejo Mayaha. How does dream takes place? What is the phenomena of dream? That is what is explained by Shankaracharya in this commentary. He says that during the waking state, the waker has several experiences through the jnana indriyas, karma indriyas, and antakaranam and the prana. What is the role of prana? Prana keeps this body alive. Without the prana, the body cannot remain alive. This prana is in your body, it is also in the external world. That is why you have to connect and resolve your body into the external body. Vishwa, in the previous mantra, we said that Vishwa, Vyashti, individual, merges with this Samashti Virat. Here, what you are going to say is the Taijasa, which is the individual, dream body merges with the Hiranyagarbha, which is Samashti. We'll come to that little later on, but you should understand that the mind serves as an experiencer and also it is a recorder. That means without the mind, I can't have any experience. First point. Second point is the mind also has a capability like our CD, like our mobile phone. You can record. So similarly, mind has got this recording facility. This recording facility is what triggers vasanas. This recording facility is what triggers even our next birth. Upanishads, they tell us that our Karana Shariram, which has got all these impressions, decides even our next birth of the physical body. Because the Sukshma Shariram is always there. Karana Shariram is always there. They both take the physical body whenever there is the right conditions for the exhaustion of prana. A jiva enters a womb of a mother. Why one particular mother? Because through that womb, it will be able to experience and exhaust certain prarabdha of in a particular birth. See, that law of karma is extremely interesting and it is very, very scientific. If you study the law of karma as you go along the study of Upanishads, parallelly, you will be able to see what is your life. Why do I experience certain things in my day? Sometimes very good experiences, and sometimes pretty bad experiences also. But then they disappear. It comes, it goes. It comes, it goes. But all these experiences are explained by the law of karma. There are three types of karma: prarabdha karma, sanchita karma, agami karma. I have explained to you these three types of karma before. Now here, Shankaracharya says that any experience creates samskaras, impressions, vasanas, and it is these samskaras which gets reactivated. How they get reactivated, we don't know because it is a law. What is the governing force behind reactivation? Which movie I am going to see today in my dream body? I don't know. Who decides that? Is it the jiva who can decide that? No. Because if I had the ability to decide my dream, I will always choose the best of the dreams. Nobody can decide his dream. Nobody. It is prarabdha karma which decides. And who is the wielder of this prarabdha karma? It is Ishvara. Now, how does this karma operate is given in a three-step program. First, you have the ignorance, avidya. Because of avidya, you have desires. Because you have desires, you get into action. So, activated by the karma phalas, that means whatever you are supposed to experience in the world outside or inside, we have different experiences in the dream world or in the waking. In the dream world, it is manasa prapancha. Perception can take place in both. In waking, through the sense organs, sense objects, and the reflected consciousness, perception takes place. But in the dream world, it is the vasanas in the karana shariram which are projecting the world. Dakshinamurti Stotram says that sense organs, they carry chid abhasa. That means our sense organ, eyes, ears, they all have got the reflected consciousness. The reflected consciousness is the power which makes the eyes see form and color, which makes the ears hear sounds. This particular mantra, the fourth mantra, Nana Chit Ghato Darastitamaha Deepak Prabhavaswaram, is an excellent explanation of how this body experiences the world. So the light of Chit Abhasa, you see, why is Abhasa, why it is not an original light? Because in the original light of consciousness, there is no vyavahara. Like in the original sun, there is no vyavahara, no activity. But on the earth, which gets the reflected sunlight, all action is possible. So similarly, the reflection of the light in my mind is responsible for the sense objects to be known. What are sense objects? Suppose you see a wall. It is a sense object, correct? Because it is a form which the eyes can see. Similarly, a sound. Suppose you hear a car, uh, 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 you hear a car behind when you walk on the road. It is the sense organ which detects the sound. Similarly, the taste, similarly, the touch. Now, sense objects are what? They are the reflectors of that Chidavasa. See how beautiful our Shastra is. It explains to us our experiences. If you try to understand the world in this form, moksha is guaranteed for you. Because while understanding this itself, you can realize your Atma, which is without the sense objects, without the sense organs, because it is the spiritual light. That is what is the objective of the Upanishad. It wants to reveal the Turiyam to you. In Turiyam, it is avyavaharyam. It is shantam, inexhaustible peace. See, normally our peace is very temporary, which is reflected peace in our mind. But Atma is one where it is ever peaceful. So my car gives light on the road reflectors and then they shine. Similarly, the spiritual light going through the sense organs give me experiences of the world. Now, if there is a mental object, then what happens? Chidabhasa is already there. It doesn't need to get new Chidabhasa. That means my mind always is with Chidabhasa, whether it is inside this body, during the waking state, during the dream state, during the sleep state, mind always has Chidabhasa. But when the sense organs are absent and the sense objects are not there, it is called as the sleep state. If the sense organs are passive, it's only the antakaranam is active, it is called as the dream state. Okay. So external object requires Chidabhasa. Internal object, it is Vasanamaya object. Chidabhasa is already there in the mind. Therefore, the type of world which I experience in dream is Tejo Mayaha. It is full of light. Now, this is the mechanism of dream. What is Prajna Anubhava? Prajna Anubhava means it is experiences of sense organs is not there, mind is also not there. That is what is called as Prajna. Okay. So, Aneka Sadhanam means experiences generated by different instruments through the golakams, through the instruments, that avastha is Jagrata. And it is actually what is happening, the Upanishad says is it appears as if the world is outside. But if you come to know your spiritual light, you will say everything is in the mind only. Because the mind is what is seen by Sakshi. There is a commentary written by Anandagiri and there is a commentary written by Satchidanendra Saraswati on Shankara Bhashyam of Mandukya Bashyam. Now, those commentators have given some more details about the dream. This Anandagiri, his brother is called as Satchidananda Saraswati. Now, when one brother writes 20 lines, another brother, the same commentary, he writes 60 lines. He writes huge commentaries on this Bhashyam. Okay. So everything falls within this consciousness entity. And consciousness is the only reality according to the Veda. Bhasamane. Bhasamane means it only appears and disappears. The external world appears, it disappears. In the sleep state, I don't see this external world. Therefore, Shankaracharya says, the world is nothing but manas spandanam. Spandanam means it is a rotation. It is a thought modification. What about dukkham, sukham? Anything which you experience is thought. It is a vritti. Now, what are vrittis? Vrittis are vibrations or throbbings of the mind. In Sanskrit, this throbbing of the mind vibration is called as spandanam. So, mind is an instrument of a jiva who is residing in this body. It is this jiva who undergoes these experiences and says, I am experiencing the world. I am experiencing the body. I am experiencing the emotions in my mind. It is a jiva. What is the definition of a jiva? Jiva is reflected consciousness together with the mind. Basic definition of jiva is reflected consciousness and the mind. It is this jiva who drops the mind and says, I am the consciousness. That is what is called as moksha. I repeat again. Normally, a jiva is mind plus consciousness, which in other words, it is called as ahamkara. It is the ahamkara, which is a totality of waker, dreamer, and sleeper. When the jiva learns this Mandukya Upanishad, he understands that the waker, dreamer, and the sleeper are lower orders of reality. All the three are lower order. And Turiyam is the higher order. And the seeker, as he learns this Upanishad more and more deeply, he will get the facility or the power in his mind to drop this mind and own up the Sakshi. What is Sakshi? It is the consciousness which is in this entire universe, which is called as Turiya. Now you understand how this whole flow of Mandukya Upanishad is. Okay. Experience itself does not become a vasana. Whenever the experience ends and vasanas are gone and sense organs are turned away, the experience dies. Experience generates vasanas. It generates impressions. So, Anubhava, experience is the karanam. Vasana is a product, is a karyam. The vasana and the karanam, they have got similarity. They have got sambandha. Whatever you experience in the waking state, in a minute form, the impressions are formed and then it is similar in nature. That is what Upanishads say. Okay, this is a revision of the whatever I've discussed so far. Mantra number 3 deals with Jagrat. Number 4 deals with Swapna, which is what we are doing now. Mantra 5 and 6, they deal with sleep, Sushupti Avastha. And the last one, mantra number 7, deals with Turiyam. Turiyam is the ultimate thing we should understand. All our energies must be to understand the Turiyam mantra. Waker, dreamer, sleeper are only names of consciousness. Try to understand. This is very, very important. Many times we think that waker is separate, consciousness is separate. We don't make that mistake. Consciousness itself is called as waker. Many people, they go through Mandukya Upanishad, but then they say that I didn't understand about this consciousness because their attention was always on the individual waker. They were never thought that the waker itself is consciousness. Consciousness expresses as waker. Consciousness expresses as the dreamer. Consciousness expresses as the sleeper. How is it possible? We all will agree. It is after we wake up from the dream, we say that I, the waker, enjoyed the dreamer. I was the same waker who was the dreamer. And I, the waker, was the one who slept also. So similarly, Upanishad wants us to say Either Turiya Atma, which doesn't have any waking dream or sleep, by itself is the wake. This is what is the trick, is the it is what is the key to opening up this Turiya. Many people miss this, but I want to emphasize that ahankara is an expression of consciousness. Ajnani thinks that I am a waker, but you should not think you are a waker. You should say, I am consciousness. Okay? Uh, I already explained to you the mind's function in the waking state is it's an active mind. In the dream state, it is a semi active mind. And in the sleep state, it is a passive mind. Okay? Passive mind means that mind is in unmanifest condition. It is in the seed condition, potential condition. Again, it will come up. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, again the mind will come up. So the seed condition is called as Karanavastha. And what is Turiyam? Turiyam is the substratum of Karanavastha. Like Waker is a substratum for the dream, for the sleeper, the substratum in which the sleeper is existing is the Atma. Like in a blank canvas, a painting comes. Like in a film, a movie is projected. Similarly, in the spiritual light of consciousness, all the three states are projected by a power which is called as Maya. Don't worry if you experience anything in life because you are not responsible for it. It is a Shakti. There is some power which is just giving you these experiences. Don't worry about any experience which comes and goes because none of this will affect you, the art. Okay. Now, question may be asked. This is asked in the Prashna Upanishad. If I get time, I will try to take something from Prashna Upanishad, maybe later on during the Mandukya sessions, because Prashna Upanishad explanation of the dream and the sleep is absolutely outstanding. You will never get that explanation anywhere else in any book. In any textbook, you will not get that type of analysis. It goes extremely deep into the three avasthas and especially the dream, because there is a question asked by the student. Explain to me, O Guru, the entire scheme of the dream. So there the Guru says you have infinite vasanas stored in the Karana Sharira. Your dream may come because of impressions of this Janma, or it can come because of impressions from the previous Janma. Okay. Many people come back and tell me, why do I get this type of dream? I have never done these things in my life, but why do I get this dream? The answer lies in this portion of the Shankaracharya's commentary. There he says the dream comes also because of Purva Janma Vasanas. So neither the Jiva, neither the Ishvara can decide your dream. Then what decides the dream? Past karma determines the swapna. And how does the swapna come? It is as per the law of karma. Okay, don't forget this lesson. Let it sink deep in you. Ultimately, what you have to do is you have to drop the entire dream as mithya. It is an experience. It came, it went. Even your experience of dream, which you will have tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 10 days from now, any day it can come. It can come in the afternoon sleep. It can come in the night sleep. Every time it is the same. It will come, it will go. So don't give any over importance to the dream. Upanishad says, goes one step further. Don't give over importance even to your waking state. Because that is also in the third chapter of Mandukya Upanishad, Shankaracharya will explain to us how the waking state is very similar to the dream. You all will get convinced. So it is Antakarana Akasha. Akasha means, you see, outside Akasha means the space outside. But the dream is not in the external space, it is in the internal space projected by the mind. In the dream, mind can't use the sense organs of the physical body, but it can project a dream body, because all of us in the dream have a body. Through that dream of body only, we see certain things in the dream, hear certain things in the dream. We sometimes taste some things in the dream. We become hungry in the dream. We eat a dream food, and then we quench our hunger or thirst. All this happens in the dream. Now, what is the cause of the dream? And what is the cause of waking, if you say? Shankaracharya says the cause of the dream is ignorance about waker. What would the waking? It is the ignorance about myself. Kama and karma varies for different jivas, but ignorance is common to all of us. The moment we have a shariram, a physical body is born because of avidya. It's a very subtle topic, but just listen to it, accept it. Later on, your intellect will say yes. When you go study further this Upanishad, your intellect will realize the Karana Sharira, especially the fifth and the sixth mantra. When we go through that, you will understand what is this causal. So, for a dreamer, in dream is waking. It is not a dream. Only for a waker, the dream becomes a dream. Similarly, for a Turiyam, for a person who has realized the self, for him only waking is a dream. But for a waker in the waking state, he will experience the waking duality. And waking is not a false experience, it is a real experience for all of us. Okay? Only when we wake up to the Sakshi nature, then alone you can declare that waking is also another long dream. A normal dream is short, few seconds. It looks pretty long in the dream. But according to scientists, our dream lasts only for 90 seconds. Now, similarly, waking is also like a dream only, but a longer dream. It lasts for 100 years. But once you have woken up to the timeless consciousness, then this waking is almost insignificant. Okay. Now, next, Shankaracharya refers to Prashnopanishad. He himself refers to, I was talking to you of Prashnopanishad. Shankaracharya is now referring to Prashnopanishad, fourth chapter, second verse, fourth chapter, fifth verse. I will show you both the verses. You try to just understand what he is saying. Prashnopanishad is also from Atharvana Veda. What is Mandukya Upanishad? Which Veda is it? Is it Sama Veda? No. It is Atharvana Veda. Therefore, there are some similarities in both the Upanishads. Similarly, you will find Mundaka Upanishad is very similar. Uh, it's very similar in nature to Ishavasya and so on. So I will, when you study some Upanishads, you see how there are similarities between Upanishads of the same Veda. Now, here, all the sense organs, they withdraw and become one Paradevata. Paradevata means it is the mind. The sense organs have withdrawn in the sleep, in the dream state. See, dream happens in the sleep state. From the sleep state only you wake up to a dream, and from the dream you wake up either to the you wake up. Generally, you will find people wake up from a dream. Generally, but some people they have a very long, dreamless sleep. Therefore, they will wake up from sleep to waking. So, mind is the deva in the dream state. And it experiences what? It experiences its own glory, Mahimanam. That is what is said in the uh, Prashna Upanishad and also in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, see, this is the Prashna Upanishad mantra, which Shankaracharya quotes, the fourth chapter, second verse. And let me explain to you Brihadaranyaka first. See, in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, in Swayam Jyoti Brahmana, the fourth chapter, the third section, the jiva is compared to a fish. A fish which reaches the shore on the right side, and the fish which again comes to the center, again it goes on the left side. So the fish moves from the center to the right. It enjoys the shore, whatever is happening on the right shore, on the left shore, and then it comes in the center. What is this example? It says the jiva also is like the one who is in the center. The sleep state is the center. For some time, it will come and experience the external world. It'll come back to the sleep. Again, it will go to the dream state. It will experience its a dream world. Again, it will come to the center. So this is how a jiva experiences the three states. Very beautiful explanation in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. If you have time, you can study that. So what does the mind do in Swapanavastha? Mind expands the portion of Jagrat Prapancha. Atrayam Purushaha Swayam Jyoti Bhavati. Atrayam Purusha means in the dream state, the mind itself, which is nothing but consciousness, itself is this entire Swapanavastha. Similarly, the same consciousness with the waking mind, it becomes this entire unit. So, mind uses the samskara to project the internal world. Mind experiences the world, external world during the waking state. This is how we connect waking and dream. In Prashna Upanishad, the example given of how this activity of the consciousness happens. See, it gives the example, very beautiful example again. Like you have the fish example, the sun example is given here in Prashna Upanishad. And here it says, Gargya is the student. And Gargya is explained by the Pipalada, the Guru, in Prashna Upanishad. He says, like the sun, What happens during the day? The rays of the sun, they reach the earth and then it illumines the earth. Then what happens in the evening time? All the rays are taken back by the sun. They go back and join the sun, and then it becomes night. So, similarly, consciousness during the waking state spreads over this entire universe, illumines this universe. Consciousness withdraws through the sense organs, it comes back to itself, and you remain as consciousness in sleep in your own avastha, in your own true nature. Again, the next day, it comes out. So this is what is the phenomena which happens, and at that time when the sun has set, there is no more activity in the world. Like same way, in your sense organs are withdrawn, there is no activity in the sleep state. Swapna Sushupti Atma is described like this. Like the rays of the sun, similarly, the rays of consciousness, they spread and they withdraw. The dream is where the rays go back to the sun after sunset. Waking is the rays of the sun which is spread in the universe. Pare deva manasi eki bhavati. The rays of the consciousness withdraw to the mind, and the mind itself becomes the supreme light of consciousness. So, this supreme light of consciousness is very evident to us in the dream state. That is why in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it is called as Swayam Jyoti. Swayam Jyoti means it's self-effulgent. Consciousness is self-effulgent. It doesn't require any other light. And that is your ultimate nature. So, even in the class, suppose you are thinking of something else at home, then your ears are there, but they don't hear the talk. Because the mind is somewhere else. The mind which has got the Chidabhasa, when it is in the golakam of the ears, then you will be able to hear the class. But suppose the mind is turned in somewhere else, then your class you don't hear. These are all examples to show how consciousness exists and the sense organs, how do they function through the mind. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, this first chapter also gives a very similar idea about consciousness and the sleep state or the dream state. It says that in the dream state, the mind is active, but the sense organs are not active. In the sleep state, the mind itself sleeps, it becomes passive. And only the vital force means the prana shakti, it is awake. And it is only this prana which keeps the body alive. Okay, so Prashna Upanishad, the two mantras, this particular mantra, the fifth mantra, it says that the mind enjoys its own glory. What is its glory? It can reflect consciousness. That is the glory of the mind. This is the proof. This particular mantra is the proof that the mind has got consciousness and the mind enjoys its own glory of reflected consciousness in the dream state. Okay. I mean, these are all, if you go through the Prashna Upanishad, you will get a little more depth, but it is just a few versus Shankaracharya quotes so that we can also learn what is this dream state. Anubhavanti swasya mahimanam. Mind experiences its own glory in Swapna. Mind, which is backed by Chaitanyam, is the subject. At any point of time, consciousness plus the mind is the subject. It is the experiencer. Whether it is the sleep, whether it is the dream, whether it is the waking, what is the subject? Subject means what is the pramata? Pramata means it is the mind plus consciousness. We can say consciousness experiences through the mind instrument, or we can say mind experiences backed by consciousness. Okay? These are the two ways in which here I made a mistake here. It is not the mind. It is mind experiences backed by consciousness. So you can present your experiences in both the ways. In one, you say it is the consciousness. You give predominance to consciousness. In the second, you say you give predominance to mind. So Prashno Upanishad and Mandukya Upanishad both belong to Atharvana Veda, and they sing the glory of these three states. They, I mean, it's amazing how these. There is no other text you will find such descriptions of the dream state, sleep state, or the waking state. This is unique in Vedanta. Okay. Now, Shankaracharya goes and gives us a complete portion of what is all the three states. From the standpoint of view of the waker, the sense organs and the mind is internal. In the dream state, it is the dreamer which experiences the mind. Now, that dreamer is called as Taijasa. The waker is called as Vishwa. Now, the third experience is the sleep state. In the sleep state, what happens is the thoughts are not there in the sleep. This is one type of explanation. There is another explanation given by some other commentators who say that even in the sleep state, there is a subtle vritti. There is a subtle vritti which is very, very subtle in nature. And what is the vritti called? It is called as Mula Avidya. I don't know anything is a vritti. That vritti is also illumined by consciousness. So either you're called as a gross experiencer, or you're called as the subtle experiencer, or you're called as no experiencer. These are the three states of a consciousness. Itself is a Vishwa, Taijasa, and it is Prajna. The second pada is called as Taijasa. That is what is the subject matter of the fourth verse. Now, the next word which Shankaracharya takes up for analysis is Anta Prajna. You see, in the mantra, this is another word which is used by the Upanishad. Anta Prajna, you see, in the seventh mantra, the Upanishad will say that Turyam is not Bahish Prajna. That means it is not the external experiencer. It will say it is not Anta Prajna. It is not the dream experiencer. And then it will also say it is not the Prajnana Ghana. That will come in the fifth mantra. So here you should understand what is this internal experiencer. So, internal experiencer means the world is not outside, but it is inside. With reference to the dream body, it is outside. But with reference to the waking body, it is inside. See, suppose you are in the dream, you will say that everything is outside only. Like you are saying now. For example, even now, you say the world is outside for all of us. But this is Maya Shakti. We all feel that the world is outside. It is Maya Shakti. Waking is a Maya Shakti. Dream is a Maya Shakti. Sleep is a Maya Shakti. How does this happen? It is a power of Turiya Atma. Okay. These are all very subtle points of Vedanta. In Dakshinamurti Stotram, comes out, this particular aspect of the teaching comes out very beautifully. It says, Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagri Tulyam Nijantargatam. Nijantargatam. Here he talks about the waking state. Actually, it is antargatam. It is actually inside, but it is as though outside because of the Maya Shakti. See, here it says, due to the Maya power, as though produced outside, is this waking state. It is exactly like the dream. Even in the dream, our experience is I am experiencing a world outside me. The dreamer thinks it's a world outside for the dreamer. As a waker also, a waker thinks that the world is outside. So, Bahish Prajna is from the dreamer's standpoint. Anta Prajna is from the waker's standpoint. Okay, this difference you should try to understand because these two are words which are used by the Upanishad itself. In the Antaprajnam, what happens in the dream state? The unique thing is that the sense organs are not active. But what is active? The Karana Shariram Vasanas are active. Okay. Jiva experiences the Vasanamaya internal world. See, throughout today's talk, we are only taking one verse which is talking about the dream state. There is such a lot of information in this one verse of Upanishad. Now, Antaprajna, we have understood. It means it is experiencer of the internal. Now, the next word which Shankaracharya analyzes is Saptango Eko Vimshati Mukhaha. Eko Vimshati means what? 19. 19 sense organs are there, which the jiva has even during the dream state. And the function of this is not there. It is in a dormant condition. But what are these? We have seen in the third month. So Shankaracharya doesn't comment much upon this particular Saptanga Eko Vimshati Mukhaha because he has already described this in the third month. The next word he uses to analyze is Praviviktam book. Praviviktam means it is distinct and it is different. Dreamer is experiencer of different objects. He won't know the difference with waker's object in the dream time. That means dream objects are different, waker's objects are different. Why? Because one is Panchabhautikam, which is there in the table here. What is dreamer's objects? Dreamer's objects are subjectively analyzed in the dream state. It is Tejo Maya Manasam. It is mental objects. And these mental objects are self-shining. How do we experience the dream? Because in the mind, there is reflection of consciousness. In the reflected consciousness, when the vasanas are activated, we see the mental objects. Very different than the waking state. This is the difference. In the case of waking, I'll come to the other table now. The dreamer experiences a tejomaya vishaya vasanamaya vishayaha. Okay. The dream time, the dream space, the dream tiger is all but nothing but the vasana generated. Now you will understand what is the vasana of the karana sharira, because that is what we experience in the waking state. There are several such bunches of vasanas in the karana shariram which are not illumined by consciousness. In the dream state, there is only a small portion which gets activated. Now coming to Waker's world. In the Waker world, we always objectify the world. Whatever the five sense organs are actually experienced, it is nothing but it is an objectification. Sound, suddenly you hear the temple bell ringing. Your ears are open. It will sense the sound. And it is all bhautikam. It is bhautikam. They are material objects. They are inert. They are external. They are shining because the mind is active. The same temple sound you will not hear when you are asleep. Okay. So the objects have to be associated with with the sense organs for the waking world. For the dream world, it is only vritti, kevala vritti. All the objects are nothing but thoughts. Okay, that is what it says in this table. Next week we'll start with this two processes which happen. I'll explain this to you next week. The process of vritti vyapti and phala vyapti. Okay, this is a technical study which I will explain to you next week. It also is based on the fourth mantra of Dakshinamurti Stotram. What actually happens when we see the objects outside, and what actually is the technical nature. You see, what happens to a thought? How does it go and envelop the object? That is one process. The second process is that the consciousness in the thought illumines that illumines that object. Okay, we will study this next week, and we'll start from this. See, these are all very deep analysis of our own experiences. What happens when we understand this clearly? When we understand these experiences clearly, we will understand our nature as consciousness, which is coming in the seventh month. All this is only trying to help us to study the seventh month. Okay, so I'll stop here. The talk on Mandukya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll see the chat board. Okay, there are a few questions on the dream. Okay. Two main questions. One is about the purpose of dreams for a jiva. there are what in Prashna Upanishad, Shankaracharya says in the fourth chapter of Prashna Upanishad, what is the purpose of dream? The purpose of dream is twofold. Number one, it is to exhaust some prarabdha karmas through dreams. There are exhaustion possible of prarabdha karma either by the waking world or by the dream world. Some prarabdha karma is exhausted. This is one purpose. Another purpose, which is from Vedantic standpoint, is dream is an excellent example of the self-evident consciousness. There is no other light in which the world, the dream world, is illumined. This comes in Kathopanishad, it comes in Mundakopanishad. There is a very beautiful mantra which related to the dreams, and it relates to the general light principle, the spiritual light. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyatyo bhanti kutoyo magnihi tameva bhantam. Tameva bhantam means first you shine. It is talking about Atma's shine in the mind. It is always there. It is there without the mind, it is there in the mind. Normally, consciousness for us to know in the waking state is very difficult. The spiritual light, because it is mixed up with the world, it is mixed up with the Bhautika Prapancha, it is mixed up with the five elements. So consciousness, if we want to realize what is the nature of that consciousness, the dream is the best example for telling us the nature of that consciousness is to illumine. Even in the waking state, it is illumining. But it is illumining what? It is illumining first my mind. Through the mind, it is illumining the five sense objects in the world. So my focus when I am in the waking state is always on the external objects. I like certain things in the external world, I run after them. I don't like certain objects or beings in the world, I run away from them. So all the time, the sense organs and are used only to go towards or run away from the objects. But this is the way the creation is. So even in the waking state, there is a consciousness. Eyes cannot see it. Mind cannot know it. Yesterday in the Taittiriya Upanishad, there is a very beautiful mantra which I was taking. Yato vacho na nivartante. Aprapya manasa saha. That means mind cannot know Atma. Words cannot know Atma. Through speech, I cannot know what is this Atma. Because it is the cause of speech, it is the cause of the mind. Mind is a karyam. Karyam means it's a product. What is the karanam? The karanam is this spiritual light. So, your question is, what is the purpose of dream? The purpose of dream is twofold. It is for us seekers to remember that in the dream, there is no other light which illumines a world for me. In the dream, it is a real world for me. Like right now, in the waking state, the world is extremely real for me. Dream becomes a dream only in the waking state. So dream has got a lot of significance, spiritual significance in our spiritual understanding. Okay, so that is the one aspect which is a general aspect is there are certain prarabdhas which is fructified in the dream. The second is spiritual aspect. Spiritually, I come to realize the light which is a Swayam Jyoti light. See, this light of consciousness, which is my real nature, it is Swayam Jyoti. It is always there. It is evident. It is I. Even in meditation, when I said aham, it means that Atma. It means that Turiyat. Okay. So, Rama, have I answered your question? Rama, you can unmute yourself and then answer me.
Yes, sir. Namaste, sir. Yes. Yeah, thanks. I understood both the points you mentioned. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. The next question I see here is about law of karma. This is a very, very big topic. I will be speaking about this law of karma in uh, during the talks. There will be some mention, but I will give you a very small glimpse of it so that your intellect gets satisfied. See, the law of karma states that this body which I have is a product. It is a product. It is a karyam. Like a pot is a product out of clay, this body which I have is a product. But what is the cause of this? The cause of this is there is a law in this world. The overview of the law of karma. First point is body is a product. It is a karyam. It is an effect. The cause is karma. Karma means what? Action. If you analyze your life, this is a second point. If you analyze your life, you will realize that throughout your life, you are only doing actions. Actions through your mind, actions through your physical body, or action through your speech. These are the three actions which are going on throughout your life. What law of karma says is that these actions which you are doing is nothing but it is a karma phala. Suppose you have certain thoughts today. According to this law of karma, these thoughts are coming to you. It is because of some action which you have done in the past. It is the results are coming to you in this birth. This is the second point you should understand. The theory of thoughts, why I think certain things today, why I didn't think 10 years ago, why these thoughts are coming today, why I'm experiencing this problem, this crisis today, why am I enjoying these things, lovely things today in the life, all explained by law. Okay, all of that. This is a very in-depth science. Now, the next point you should understand is the law of karma says that there are certain results which you can reap or experience during one lifetime. All your experiences you cannot experience. That means you are a jiva, I am a jiva. Because of my prarabdha karma, I am teaching. Because of your prarabdha karma, you are listening to this talk. That is what is the explanation of the law of karma. This is just an example. You can just you can give this for all your experiences. Because of your karma, your children, you are experiencing your children. Because of their prarabdha karma, they are experiencing you as their mother or father. All the karmas in the world are interconnected. That means the whole world, that is why they say that karana prapancha. Prapancha means there is a cause for this entire world, which is how the creation itself comes about. So the point you should understand is there are three aspects of karma phalam. One is called as sanchita karma. Sanchita means it is the total of all what you have to experience in several lifetimes. It is like a deposit. You have $1 million deposit in the bank. Now, that is called as sanchita. Then the next karma is called as prarabdham. Prarabdham means out of that $1 million deposit, $100,000 is getting matured in this year. So during your lifetime, there is a certain karma phalams, which means you are supposed to do certain actions and you're supposed to enjoy certain result of actions. And this explains it explains all your entire experiences of life, whole experience of life. It's a very scientific explanation. So this, so the prarabdha karma means whatever from my birth till my death, whatever I'm supposed to experience in this waking state or the dream state or the sleep state, it is designed by prarabdha karma. Tomorrow, what will you experience? Prarabdha karma. Day after tomorrow, what will you experience? Prarabdha. What did you experience yesterday? Again, some result of actions. The result of actions is either good or bad. That means during the day, it is either you had a joyful experience or you had a sorrowful experience. This is the result of karma. This is the phala. Now, this is what is prarabdha means a small portion. One deposit has matured, so you will enjoy the matured amount and you will spend that amount during a lifetime. During your lifetime, this lifetime, you are also doing actions. There are certain actions which you are doing. Sometimes you do very good actions. Now, those very good actions, for example, you have taught yoga to 100 people. It's a good action. Or you have given some charity, some money. You have helped some poor people. These are all small, small things. They say every action, it will have a reaction in twofold ways. Either you will get papam or punyam. Punyam means you will get merit. Papam means it is demerit. So this is continuously happening. So even during this your current birth, suppose you have fed some birds. Different people have got different ways in which they fulfill their karma phalams. Now, what happens? Those actions which you have done this birth, and you are not able to complete, you don't get the full fruit of those actions in this birth. Those actions are added to the sanchita. That means the amount you have earned, new amount you have earned through your work, you are adding it to the deposit that is what is called as agama karma. Agama karma means it is new karma phalams which you have earned during your current birth, but you have not got the results now. It will be added to your old karma phalam or old merits, and then you will again reap the benefits in the future births. Now, whenever you try to analyze the world and yourself in this world, try to use this law of karma for explaining to your own intellect why you are experiencing something good or bad. And let your intellect get satisfied. All the main thing you should understand is whatever experiences I have, accept it first. It is a law. It is a fact which will explain the life principle to me. Some have very young body and then they go away. People die at different ages. People are in the sick bed for a long time. Some die very fast. Some different births, different experiences. All these experiences can be explained by the law of karma. It has got very big significance in the Hindu scriptures. The entire Veda Purva Bhaga, that means the Veda, it talks about karma phalams, which you can enjoy in different lokas also. So it is a very scientific study, but I cannot explain everything in the short time. I've given you a glimpse. As we study the Upanishads, I will be talking about this law of karma off and on. So you will come to know about it. And it is a very scientific principle to explain to you for your own explanation. Why I experience this, why I don't experience this. Why my neighbor is so rich, but I am not so rich. Prarabdha karma. Why my children are good, why I have not got married. Prarabdha karma. Okay, so all these things are all explained by this law of scriptures. Jacqueline, have I answered your question?
Yes, Mr. Shekhar, appreciate. Yes, really appreciate.
Thank you. Next question is, today's meditation is really great. Okay, good. Use whatever you can. You see, these are all techniques to go deep within yourself. That's all. Meditation is an exercise to go deep within yourself and realize the pure nature of yours. That's all these meditations which I'm doing is every time it is always trying me to enter deeper and deeper into your mind and go beyond that mind. That is the purpose of Vedantic meditation. There is nothing else. It is only a pure teaching of an existing fact. The fact is you are Atma. That's all. It is a mistake you're thinking I am the body. Body is undergoing several experiences. Again, as per law of karma, finished. Drop them. Body is experiencing, I go through the experiences, but try to understand your nature as Atma. The whole study of Upanishads is only to understand Atma. And the moment you are able to hold on to that Atma, you have crossed and you have something what is called as Shama. Shama means mind control. Till your thoughts are not controlled, that means the moment you get your knowledge as Atma, you will be amazed at your own mind, your control of your mind. Amazed. You'll be amazed and say, how can I control my mind so well now? It is because you have gone to the root of the mind and you are understood, I am the Atma. Otherwise, what happens is you will be tossed by your mind. You will never be able to understand neither the scriptures. If you are able to sit for these talks and listen for 1.5 hours or 2 hours, it only shows that you have got the basic discipline of your mind control, which is a great thing. Okay, there is a lot of benefit in Mandukya Upanishad in the 3rd chapter, verse number 40 to 48. Shankaracharya explains to us the benefit of meditation. 8, 9 verses he talks about the benefit of meditation. He says that you can get jnanam, but you may not get the benefit of the jnanam if you don't know how to control your mind. Very beautifully explains how you have to control your mind through proper meditation. And what meditation you have to do, that is what we are doing now. In our meditation is what Shankaracharya has explained in his commentary on the third chapter of Mandukya, from 40 to 48 verses, 8, 9 verses. Okay. My elders say that if the dream comes in the early morning, it will become true. Even I have heard this. Let's leave it in the sense that if it comes, let it come. If it doesn't come, don't worry about it. Leave it. See, these are all things which people have said. So for some it works. There are many people it doesn't work also. So take it, okay, if it comes, because in life, anything which comes, you have to accept it. Whatever comes, anything comes in the life, accept it. So my advice in this case is, yes, it is true in certain cases, but it may not be true in others also. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Hari Om.
Thank you, Perry. Next is okay. Shama is saying, okay, Mini. Okay, there generally seems to be a hierarchy of the waking, dream, and sleeping, with the waking being the lowest in the hierarchy. Okay. But shouldn't we consider it as the highest, because we all share in the waking consciousness with different points of view, as opposed to a dream state, which is even more singular, individual in nature. Okay. Now, you have a point, but then just wait for Mandukya Upanishad, and then you will find an answer to your question, which Shankara gives you. See, what you should understand is, basic thing about waking or dream or sleep, you can categorize them because you are seeing the world. The world has got experienceability, transactability, utility, all that is there in the waking state. But why is it considered the lowest? Because your ignorance is at the highest level in the waking state. You're taking the entire external world as real, and you have not understood it is you, the consciousness, which is illumining that. So from the hierarchy point of view, when you use hierarchy, you are saying that I am completely lost in the world. Self-ignorance is the highest in the waking state. It is lower in the sense, at least in the dream state, if somebody tells you, you are that light of consciousness which is illumining the dream, you will be able to understand it. Very easy. And then somebody else says, or Upanishad teaches you, that you are the consciousness, you are the Sakshi of the sleep state. Still more easier, because you are there all alone. There is nothing in the world. There is Advaita Prapanch, that is Advaita Avastha and Advaita Vastu. So you're closer to this sleep. As you go subtler and subtler into the states, you are getting closer and closer to the up. Waking state is the farthest away, because your sense organs are only showing you the external world. In the seventh mantra of Mandukya Upanishad, the first thing which Shankaracharya says is, Na bahish prajnam. You are not what you are experiencing in the external world. You are not what you are experiencing in the dream world. You are not what you are experiencing in the sleep. Okay? Uh, Ultimately, you should understand that all the three avasthas have one thing in common, and that is they are all mithya. Mithya means they are all appearances. They don't have any factual reality without I, the consciousness, illumining me. If you hold yourself as the pure consciousness in which all these three states are coming and going, then you have understood the truth of Mandukya Upanishad. Again and again, I'm repeating the same thing, but it has to go very deep in your mind. And as you study further these mantras, whatever we are studying now, your intellect will grow. I give you guarantee you will say, I have understood Mandukya, I have understood my real nature. Thank you. That's all. You will be surprised at how ultimately the Upanishadic mantras are able to reveal yourself. That revelation happens by the mantras, from the mantras. The illumining capacity of the mantras is phenomenal. When I'm taking up the seventh mantra, you will see that. Okay. So, Amini, have I answered your question? You have anything else?
Thank you, thank you. I think the most important thing here is to understand that all the three states are mithya. They are projections. I think that's the most important thing that I understood.
You got it.
Your answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
Thank
all
you so
projections, exactly like the dream. Exactly. The waking is also projection, but it is not my mind projection. It is Ishvara's mind projection. That's all. Ishvara, that is the Lord, is giving me experiences. That's all. I am in the world, but it is not my mind through which I'm experiencing all this. It is Ishvara's mind. That is why we are saying it is Maya. Okay, good. I'm glad you understood the essence of the answer. How do we resolve karma philosophy, Dvaita, with Advaita philosophy, as Advaitam does not accept karma as Brahman is a karta? Does that mean karma philosophy is still ajnana is removed by knowledge? Then, okay. This brings a great connect to Jiva's transmigration due to ajnana karma. Till this time, Jiva is helpless, cannot. Okay. Yeah. Vijaya, what you should understand is as follows. Law of karma is useful for all people who do not have the knowledge of Vedanta. And what does the meaning of this? It means that you don't know anything about your Atma. You don't know anything about Advaita. For them, it is this law of karma. And the law of karma explains our experiences. All our experiences, law of karma explains. That's all. Don't connect it with the philosophy of Advaita. Philosophy Advaita is for you to rise from the level of law of karma, which is a vyavaharika satyam, to the higher level. At the higher level, only Advaitam works. Till your intellect is able to accept Advaitam, you use the law of karma for all your experiences. Why this happened to me? Why I didn't do this? Why I did this? If this question comes, immediately remember law of karma. But suppose you want to know, who am I? Am I really a jiva, or am I turiya atma? Drop the jiva bhava with the law of karma, and when you come to turiya bhava, you accept Advaita. All these are happening in me the consciousness. Have I answered your question, Vijay?
Yes, thank you, Shekharji. Thank you very much.
Good. Very deep question. Dream world is also explained in Ramayana, Sundarakanda. Yes, correct. Venkatesh, you're right. Vijay goes and Shankara sings Glories of Ishvara. Yes, in Bhaj Govinda. Yes. Okay. Now the others, Hani, can you come? Can you ask your question? Hani Reda. You can unmute yourself, Hani.
Yes. Namaste, Shekharji.
Yeah, namaste. Tell me.
Yes, thank you so much. Beautifully explained today. My question regarding the dreams is, in my case, I don't have dreams.
Fantastic.
I maybe have one dream per year, something like that.
Okay, good. You're
Almost
truly
nothing.
blessed, I must say. You're blessed.
Oh, really? Well, that was part of my question. My question is, what does this mean? How come? What does it say about me or the way I'm living my life? One thing I can tell you is I live a crazy, very intense life. So I am usually exhausted by the end of the day. And I honestly don't feel like I have anything more to experience or any desire to experience anything more by the end of the day. I don't know if that is the reason why. There are no further desires or karmas to enact in the dream, or what is the reason why I don't have because you said you yourself said there are benefits from the dream, we can learn from them, and I feel like I'm missing out from learning about the dream state of consciousness by not having dreams.
Yeah. See, the way you should understand your experiences that, in your lifetime, I said there are certain results of actions which can be fructified in your dreams and certain requires only your waking state. In your case, what happens is you don't have anything where you need to dream and then it fructifies. That means that experiences will come and it goes away. So in your case, I have heard similar experiences from many people. Many people have told me they don't have dreams. You're not the only one. There are several people who say, I know my waking state. I know I went to sleep and I again come back to waking state. Again, I go to sleep. In between, there's nothing. So it's only a waking sleep. Waking sleep, there is no dream in between. It is natural. It is natural because each jiva, each soul which takes birth in this universe has got different karmas to end. Like if you have understood a little bit about the law of karma, law of action and reaction, that will explain to you that in dream you don't need to. Which means it is a lesson for you to say that I don't have a dream because my mind is pure. My mind is not clogged up with a lot of impressions which I have to exhaust in my dream. I have a pure mind. So your experience of not having a dream is a good experience. That means you learn that to say that you have only two avasthas. In your experience, there is only two avastha. It is either sleep or waking. In sleep, I am completely ignorant about myself. In waking, I see the world, but I don't understand the world. That is also ignorance. I don't understand the world. I don't understand this body. Why is the heart beating? Why is my blood flowing? Why all this is happening? There is no answer to all these questions. So ignorance is there for the waking state. Ignorance is there for the sleep state. What you have to understand is drop both this as a false experience. Both these are false. It is not a real world. It is a false world. It is coming. I experience it. It goes away. That's all. But what is it? With this, you should understand that anything which is false, like a rope snake is false, it must have a substratum. Substratum is a rope for rope snake. For shell silver, shell is the substratum. Similarly, for your experiences in this world, there is a substratum, there is a pure consciousness, and all my effort is to understand that pure consciousness in which I don't experience any world at all. It is very similar to your sleep state, but the only difference is you're awake to that, you're awake to that experience where there is no world, but you are there. This is what is called as understanding Vedanta. Understanding Atma means what? In the class itself, you are able to accept there is a consciousness in which there is no world. I am that consciousness. All of us have the anubhava because that is my nature. Nobody can say I don't experience consciousness because that is always there. See, there are certain things which are never there, which you never experience. There are certain things which you experience, but they only last for a short period of time. Any experience in the waking state is for a very short time. Even though the waking experience continuously, it appears very continuously, it is there. Really speaking, the waking state goes into unmanifest condition in your sleep state, again comes back to the manifest condition in the waking state. Then just wait for the seventh mantra of this Mandukya Upanishad. Your answer, you will get a little bit more clarity about your question.
Okay.
Okay.
Just one follow-up on that, if you don't mind, sir. And that is that, yeah, I guess that in my case, the impressions are not registering too deeply, maybe, and that's why vasanas and those impressions are not becoming projected.
Yes,
During
possible. You
the
see, for
dream
example, let me ask you a question. Do you get disturbed by your thoughts during your waking state?
No, this one thing I was going to also mention. In
Yeah.
general, I'm going through life, everything is fine, no problem, but I don't feel deep desires or deep fears of anything. So nothing is forming very deep impressions.
Good. I mean, these are all the good signs of a spiritual seeker. What you are experiencing is good in the sense that, that's why I asked you whether you are troubled by your thoughts during your waking state. If you say, I am not troubled by my thoughts, then you are absolutely in the right place because your mind is not disturbing you. You can listen with 100% attention on what the Upanishad is trying to teach you. Just learn, just keep learning about the different experiences and see whether your experience ultimately tallies with this experience of the seventh mantra of this Upanishad. That is what you should try to tie up. All of you. You see, ultimately, you have to realize the seventh mantra as your nature, as uh, your own essence. So try to understand as we go through this in the seventh mantra, you try to contemplate whether that whatever the Upanishad is telling you, this is what you are. This is what you are. Does it does it strike a bell with you? Does it really do you enjoy that what the seventh mantra is talking about yourself, your nature? If you do it, that means you have understood the reality, which is what the Upanishad wants you to realize. Okay, very good, Hani.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shanta, you have a question?
Yeah, in fact, I think Haniji has also asked, or rather, I was thinking that I also get very few dreams. And I was also thinking whether it's a good or bad, but I'm glad that you mentioned and you answered his question. I mean, answering his question, I got it as well. I mean, the only difference I think is when I see a dream, it does come true, maybe after decades. And then I remember I had seen it in the dream. Maybe some of them I even forget, but then they only come when it happens in reality. It just flashes me that, oh, I had actually dreamt about it. So it's like a deja vu, feeling. But coming to, yes, um, I was also thinking, is it because my life is very busy and hectic? I don't get dreams because my sister, every day she has so many dreams in the night, in one night, and I don't have any. And I also thought, and she
Yeah.
says, I see colored dreams and all that. I said, I don't even see bodies in the dream. It's only impressions I get. I
Yeah.
don't actually visualize, anything.
Yeah.
So very, very rarely I visualize anything, but some of them it's thoughts which are there, which tell me, this things, but not really. Um, I think in the thoughts itself, the dreams describe, but I don't see a picture like how other people see, you know. So that was one thing. And I'm glad that it's not just my hectic schedule, which doesn't let me see any dreams. It's also, my thoughts. And I also don't get very much, I don't have any deep desires, as Haniji said. And I've, no desires at all, actually. I just take life as it comes.
Good.
So
Very good.
question,
Yeah.
yeah. So even if somebody says, okay, you got this, I say, okay, fine. It's a prarabdha karma, and just leave it at that. I don't bother.
That's correct.
Uh,
You see, that's the way to take life. Just take it as it comes. Every day is a new day. Take it and say that today I've got to, whatever Lord has given me, this is what is called as karma yoga, prasada buddhi. I accept. I accept. See, the problem is if you don't accept your reality, which comes in front of you, then it's a problem. See, many people, when they come and learn the Bhagavad Gita or these Upanishads, you all become spiritually more awakened and you accept life as it comes. That is a transformation which happens to all who are listening to Vedanta.
Yeah.
It's a great transformation. You see, this is a very it's a it's a gift, like I also told you about your control of the mind. It's a power which is there in you. So I'm glad
I
you are
cannot,
saying,
as you said that, because, I couldn't believe that people, if they want to control their mind, they can't. Because I felt it's not big, great thing. You sit in meditation and you can control your mind. Or, maybe some thoughts will come. But I was surprised when one of my colleagues said that she just can't even sit. She says, my phone is, I want to see what's come on WhatsApp. And I said,
yeah,
could you
yeah.
just
No,
keep your phone away?
yeah, these are all just habitual. You see, we
Yeah.
create a lot of habits, and then it continues.
Yeah. So, I
This
mean, that
mobile
was,
phone and getting glued to the mobile phone is a habit.
mm,
Now, we all, we all have unconsciously got glued to the mobiles. It's become so attractive and so important in life that we all have become attracted to that, attached to our mobiles. But
mobiles,
anyway,
yeah.
these are all small meditations will help you. So
Yeah.
don't worry.
No, I don't think, yeah, the thing is, that's one of the reasons I don't even have WhatsApp on my mobile. And that's why I don't receive, I have to wait for emails because I just feel I don't have the time and I don't want to waste my time looking at those messages, which are, I feel when this whole life is mithya, what is messages are going to do?
Yeah,
That's
correct.
another,
Good.
yeah. So one
You're
thing I wanted to tell is today, you mentioned about the dream thing. And it's very surprising. Today, as I was just clearing all my scribbled notes and everything, I found where I had written down the mantra of Katha Upanishads, na tatra suryo ho bhati, na chandra tarakam. And you mentioned it, and I was thinking, why did I write this? When did I write this? And I don't know when I wrote it. And today, when you mentioned it, it was almost like, oh my God, yes, today you explained to me as well. And it was quite, a connection I saw today, that I saw this mantra in the morning before joining the class. And then you mentioned it today. it is a very good, gives me the vision that I actually today felt a little more mature in my feeling in the sense of this mithya, because as you said, the dream world, there is no body and it's all in the mind, and it is illuminated by something which we don't know, because there are no stars, there is no moon, or there is no sun. So that something is the Brahman, right? Uh, Now, I still need to. I mean, I think you will tell me to wait for the seventh mantra. I know, but I just want to say that in the waking, uh, we have the sun, which is illuminating. We have the moon and the stars, or in this world. So why should we have, or what is that? Uh, why are we feeling or given this whole projected world? Maybe only a dream world would be enough for us. Would that suffice?
Oh,
Or,
see, the
why?
dream world, yeah, the
Mm,
dream world can satisfy only a small portion of your product. You require the objective world to come and exhaust so that your product is exhausted. What this is from the experiential point of view, but what is more important is to understand that in the dream world, okay, now that you have understood, very good. You have taken the dream, you have understood there is a consciousness, there is a light of consciousness in the dream which is illuminated. In the dream, there is a
yeah,
world also.
yeah,
Objects are there, beings are there. You have
yeah. Hunger,
uh,
thirst,
hung-
joy,
hunger.
anger,
You have happiness. You have
everything.
sorrow. In some dreams you are very
Mm,
sorrowful. In some dreams you just get up, being frightened. In certain dreams you are very happy.
mm,
Different experiences of dreams are possible for each one of us. What is to be learned from that is there is a light. There
mm,
is something which is illuminating it. What Shankaracharya, what Upanishad is saying in the seventh mantra is the same light which is illuminating the dream actually is there even now, experiencing, it is illuminating all my experiences in the waking. It is
mm,
there, same. Only in the dream it is easy for me to understand because there is no other light. There is a light which is illuminating that dream world. And go one step further. There is also, I have an experience when I have a sleep condition, no dreams, only
mm,
sleep. Like Hani mentioned just now, I only experience sleep and waking.
mm,
Now, what is illuminating that emptiness we are all experiencing? See, Vedanta, especially Mandukya, takes your mind away from the waking world and it brings to your attention the other two worlds, which is dream and sleep, and it is making an inquiry. See, it is making an inquiry. That means you are making an inquiry regarding the three states.
mm,
In the seventh mantra, the the answer, the teaching is whatever is illuminating the sleep state, whatever is illuminating the sleep state of ignorance,
mm,
whatever is illuminating the state of dream,
mm.
is the same which is illuminating the waking state.
The waking state.
And the Upanishad says, drop the experience of the world
Mm,
and hold on to that light.
mm,
That is you. Drop your body, hold on to the light which makes you aware of this body. Whatever body you have, male, female, whatever body you have, that is your that is
mm.
your real self. Knowing
That
which
is,
you will feel very fulfilled in life. I'm telling you, when you understand the seventh mantra completely well, which happens when you study the second and the third chapter. Because there are two words used in the seventh mantra. One is Advaitam, another is Prapancho Upasham. The rest of the words are easy to understand. Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam. Shantam, Shivam is easier to understand, but not these two words. These two words, Prapancha Upashamam, 38 verses are there in the second chapter, explaining one word. Similarly, the third chapter explains one word, Advaita. These two words, especially the word Advaitam, if you understand as consciousness, is Advaitam, which means all my experience, the waker, dreamer, sleeper, is all resolving into this consciousness. And it is this consciousness again experiences the waker, dream, and sleep throughout the life. I learn from the Upanishad to drop the waker, dreamer, and sleeper and hold on to this consciousness as my real nature. See, everybody who comes to these talks wants to know who I am. Now, this is what you are, Upanishad is teaching us. It is that light which you can't see. Your eyes for example, your eyes will never know that light which is illumining the dream. How do you know that light is there of consciousness which is illuminating? Because the Upanishad is telling you. So the source of consciousness is the Upanishad. Upanishad is the source book. I accept it. So if you accept Natatra Suryo Bhati in the dream state, what Upanishad says is, even in the waking state, accept that mantra and then lead your life. Let the life goes on. You hold on to this as your reality, as your Atma. What it says is, this is the Atma of the entire universe. It is the Atma means it is the self of the universe. It is the self of me. When I say self of me, it means pure consciousness.
Yeah, no, I think it is. I'm walking slowly towards that, because I would say today's thing made me realize a glimpse of who I am in the dream state, where when I think this Natatra Suryo Bhati Chandravatarakam, that gives me that. And I think yesterday's lecture and combined with today's lecture, yeah, I'm looking forward for the seventh mantra.
Thank you, Shanta.
I must say, yeah, thank you.
Deepak, nice to see you back. Namaste. Can you unmute yourself? I can't hear you.
No, I've been following the lectures, Shekharji.
Very good.
So I'm this thing, and every time I listen to this lecture and commentaries, new understanding emerges.
Yes.
And I was just thinking while listening to all the questions being asked, my own understanding, and I was just thinking that the light of consciousness, when it enlivens the mind, it experiences the world of name and form, and both the Vishwa and the Virat rest in the mind.
Yes.
And similarly, the Tejasva and Hiranyagarbha also rest in the mind.
Yes.
As reflected consciousness, so experiences
correct.
the world of
Yes.
name and form is reflected consciousness. Experiences,
that's correct. Yes.
Projects the because of the vasanas, projects in the Hiranyagarbha, whatever the mind or the mind.
That's correct. Yes. Yes.
So basically, it's in all the three states. Basically, the consciousness enlivens the mind and gives these three states.
That's it.
So there
you
are
understood perfect.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to sort of say, but in the last state, the sleeper, the mind is also shut.
Correct.
So, but you're saying that the still it is there because there is the light of consciousness, but it rests in the Turiam.
Yes.
So Turiam is
in the sleep state. In the sleep state, what happens is the Prashna Upanishad says that in the sleep state, the mind learns to rest in the consciousness, and through the Upanishad, I understand that is my Turiyam nature. Wherever the mind is resting, that is the final place for me to rest.
So, and then when I get up in the morning, again the light of consciousness starts experiencing this world of reflected consciousness. And I think this is real. In all the two states, in the waker and the dream state, I think that this is real.
Yes.
But in the third state, I have no experience whether it's real or there's no qualifying experience per se. It's just that I rest. So therefore, there is no fourth state. There's only three states.
Yes. For experience-wise, there are only three states.
Three states.
But the fourth state is known only from the Upanishads.
Yes.
It's not an experience. It is a knowledge.
It's a knowledge.
It's a knowledge. It is only knowledge which says that the fourth state is the ultimate absolute state in which there is no state at all.
Yes.
That is the final. The sleep avastha is a very beautiful experience for all of us to realize that I can exist without the body, mind, and the world, which is my real experience according to consciousness, according to the teaching. You see, every time we always understand how is it possible that only consciousness is there and the world is not there? This question will occur to all the seekers. Suppose I leave this body and go away. And the Upanishad says that you are eternal. What does it mean? Eternal means what? Eternity is experienced by us every day when we are asleep. That is our real state. It is a state in which we don't change at all. That is why it is called as eternal, beyond time. That is my real avastha. Knowing that state is moksha. Knowing that eternal state is moksha. Moksha means what? I have learned to drop this mind and its experiences into a bucket and say that this is not me. And that you can only do when you have come to Mandukya Upanishad. And Mandukya tells you in the seventh mantra, drop all the three states into a bucket and drop it. Finished.
So basically, the reflected consciousness dissolves into Turiyam.
Yes.
Reflected consciousness,
correct.
which is the mind,
yes,
dissolves into the
that's
Turiyam.
correct. Yes.
There is
And
no
that's
reflected
what is
consciousness.
called as merger. That is
Merger.
what is called as Jivan Mukti.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. You got. I see. There's so much of knowledge which has got percolated in you over the years because you have been listening for the last 5 years, 4 years. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Shekhar.
Thank you. I will close today, and then we'll see next week. Thank you, and namaste to all of you. Thank you.
Namaste.
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 Namaste.